everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am the Ink Northerner and this is my video response to Andy over at UK Kraut. Now Andy put out a video, community challenge a couple of hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago, tagged me in it. I've only just seen it, thought now I'm finished work for the day, I'll record my response. So the community challenge that Andy put out was your most disliked game system ever released, and I sat here thinking, you know, is there a system that I really don't particularly like? And the answer is no. I pretty much own every console that I want to own in my collection, barring a Game Gear, which I keep saying, hopefully going to sort that out at some point soon. But there isn't a console that I particularly have any dislike for or no fondness, well, say no fondness, you know, any hatred towards. I sat here and thought, well, I could pick one of the microcomputers. It's not something I know anything about, so it would be unfair to pick one of them. I would only be picking it because it's not something I've ever gelled with. I've never really particularly wanted to own an Amiga, a Commodore 64, a Spectrum or anything along those lines. So yeah, I could have picked one of those. I'd have ostracised myself from quite a few of the guys who are into that, and I can't pick that because I have no affinity with it. It's not something I've ever touched. It's not something I would ever go out of my way to buy. You know, if somebody gave me one to play about with, I'd have a go at playing about with it, but I wouldn't. Sorry, just let me kill that. But I wouldn't particularly go out of my way to buy or collect for it. And then I started going through the big brands. So started with Nintendo. Did Nintendo have a bad console? I started with an NES. I love the Super Mega Drive. Super Nintendo. The Nintendo 64 is a phenomenal system. So many good things to come out of the Nintendo 64. You know, if anything, probably my favourite game ever released is on the Nintendo consoles, in Ocarina or A Link to the Past, one of the two. The Wii, you know, do I have any hatred for the Wii? I don't play on it as much, but there are still games that I like to play. There's no, you know, the motion controls. Wii U, I own one. Switch, I own one. I like them. They do what they do. I don't play on them that often. The Switch is downstairs. My Wii U is in, but I rarely touch it. And then obviously I went through Sony. There isn't a Sony system that I despise. PlayStation 5 because I can't get hold of one, but I will eventually, and you know, I'll have one. And then obviously there's not going to be an Xbox console for me that I'm going to hate, going to dislike. Sega produced amazing consoles with amazing games. You know, and you know, there's a lot of console brands like Neo Geo, and you know, I've never really gotten into and never really had. Atari, I could have picked an Atari, but you know, I like sampling the Atari the way I do on the Evercade. So then that got me thinking into handhelds. And truly, is there a big brand handheld that I dislike? No. I hated this piece of shit, but I'm not going to put that in there. That was like playing in treacle. And I thought, well, maybe the PSP Go, I think it was called, which was an old digital PSP. I thought, well, no, not really. I've never owned one. I never would. But, you know, I like my PSP. So then that got me thinking, and I had to think out of the box for this and think, what system do I particularly not like gaming on? And the answer to that question is this. Now, I used to love the way mobile phone gaming was, where you would buy the game for a set price, you would play the game for a set price, you would have no adverts, there was no freemium stuff involved, and it was great. I own quite a lot of games. You know, I own Terraria on mobile. I've not played it in a long while, but I do own it, and I bought several of the Humble Bundle mobile game bundles. But the way mobile gaming has gone in today's age, I really don't like it. Now, it's starting to come out at the other side, and I'll explain why in a second. But for me, I don't like these grind games where you farm things and it takes you days to do it, or you can pay 30p or whatever it is to get to the next, to speed it up. You can buy a bundle of so many gems for £6.50, and why would I? I know people do, but why would I? It really grates on me. I hated the microtransactions when EA brought all the shit in. I hate them on mobile gaming. And then there's adverts. I despise adverts. He says, being on YouTube, I disable my ad blocker for YouTube, but for everything else, I have my ad blocker on. They do my head in. And on my games, on mobile gaming, I can't stand you either get interrupted midway through doing something, or you complete a puzzle and it goes straight to an advert. It really, really fucks me off. So I don't generally try to avoid swearing as much as I do in my general day-to-day life when I'm making my videos, but this is an area of gaming that really winds me up. But the light at the end of the tunnel for me with mobile gaming is things like Project xCloud, or Sony's ability to play your games on the go on your mobile. Now, are those streaming services excellent? By no means they're not, but they are in their infancy. And then with the invention of things like the Razer Keshi controller, which clips onto your phone, they're expensive, but they are pretty good. And I've played with one. I played with one in the Microsoft Store pre-lockdown, I think. Or what was it there? I played with it, or did I play with my mates? One. I think it was my mates one. I think I remember playing with one of the actual Xbox style controllers in the Microsoft Store in Oxford Circus. Yeah, Oxford Circus, I think it is. Down in London, anyway. And it's starting to come out. It's great that I can play on majority of my Game Pass games on my mobile on the go. I've got a clip for my Bluetooth Xbox controller. I use that when I've been travelling, when I've played on some of the xCloud stuff. So things like that are starting to bring mobile gaming back towards the good side, but there will always still be these freemium pay to win pieces of crap that get made. Dragon games where you build a dragon farm or whatever, and farming games and shit like that. I think I've got one mobile phone game installed on my personal phone, and that game is Wordament, and the only reason I've done that is so that I can get the gamer score for it. It's a Microsoft game. The ads are disabled in there, so I don't see ads either, which is good. You see a blank screen, but you don't see the adverts because I think the ad servers are turned off. So yeah, bit of an out of the box thought, but I really truly could not pick a games console, be it handheld or be it home console. So it had to be the mobile phone. Now, apologies, Andy, if that breaks the rules, but I really don't like mobile gaming the way it is at the minute. So yeah, that was my video response. All that's left for me to do is thank you for watching. I have been the Ink Northerner, and I will catch you on the next one.